Emma is a young woman beginning her first job in a busy city. She is excited but also nervous about her new role. Emma is 25 years old, and she recently graduated from university. She has a degree in business management, and this job feels like a big step for her. She loves learning new things and wants to succeed. Emma has many dreams for her career. She wants to become a manager one day and lead a team. Emma is a hardworking person. She always tries her best in everything she does. Her friends say she is kind, honest, and reliable. These qualities help her build friendships and create good relationships with others. Emma enjoys spending time with her friends and often volunteers at local charities. She believes in helping people around her. During her free time, Emma loves reading books and watching movies about real-life stories. These hobbies inspire her and give her the motivation she needs to work hard. However, Emma has some personal challenges too. She often feels overwhelmed by the pressure of starting her career. The fast-paced work environment makes her anxious. Every day, she worries about making mistakes at work. Emma fears that if she does something wrong, her coworkers will judge her. This fear makes it hard for her to focus. She wants to be perfect, but knows that nobody is perfect. Learning to overcome this fear is one of her main goals. At the office, Emma meets different people. Some are friendly, and some are challenging for her. There is a coworker named Rachel, who seems very confident. Rachel often shares her ideas in meetings, making Emma feel small. Emma wishes she could speak up like Rachel, but struggles to express her thoughts. She wants to learn how to share her ideas clearly without feeling shy. Emma's job is in a marketing company. She works as an assistant and handles many tasks. From answering emails to preparing reports, Emma has a lot to learn. Her boss, Mr. Adams, is supportive, but he also has high expectations. Emma wants to impress him, but often feels the pressure building. She plans to ask for feedback from her boss. She believes this will help her improve her skills. As Emma faces these challenges, she learns important life lessons. She understands the value of asking for help. Emma knows she is not alone in her struggle. Many people have similar experiences when starting new jobs. Through each challenge, she wants to grow and become more confident. Emma hopes to find her voice at work and develop strong personal skills. She believes these lessons will help her on her journey to achieving her goals. By sharing her experiences, Emma shows that facing fears and working hard can lead to success. She wants to encourage others who are in similar situations. Readers will follow Emma's story and learn with her as she navigates her new job and uncovers her true potential. Each challenge she faces will help her grow, not just in her career, but also in her personal life. One day, Emma arrived at work feeling ready to tackle her tasks. She wanted to impress her boss, Mr. Adams, and show him she could handle her role. As she settled into her desk, she noticed Rachel, a coworker who often seemed unfriendly. Rachel had a strong personality and looked confident. Emma wanted to avoid her, as Rachel gave off a negative vibe. Soon, Emma overheard Rachel talking with another colleague. "Did you see Emma's last report? It was full of mistakes," Rachel said with a laugh. Emma's heart sank. She had worked hard on that report, and Rachel's words made her feel small. Instead of laughing along, Emma tried to ignore the comment, but it hurt her feelings. She wished she could confront Rachel, but felt too scared to do it. As days went by, Rachel continued to make snide comments. "Emma, have you thought about checking your work?" Rachel asked loudly during a meeting. Everyone turned and looked at Emma. Heat filled her cheeks, and she felt embarrassed. Mr. Adams had just praised Emma for her efforts, and now Rachel wanted to tear her down. Each time this happened, Emma felt crushed. She thought, "Maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I should just stay quiet." One afternoon, Emma found herself in the break room with Rachel and a few other coworkers. They were laughing together, but Emma felt out of place. Rachel suddenly asked, "What do you think of our new marketing plan, Emma?" The others turned to look at her as if waiting for a joke. I think it's good," Emma replied softly. Everyone else laughed, and Rachel replied, "Good? That's all. You must be so impressed." This comment made Emma want to disappear. She felt trapped in an uncomfortable space. Later, Emma discussed her feelings with her friend, Lily, who worked in another department. "Lily, I feel awful at work. Rachel keeps making fun of me, and I don't know what to do," Emma explained. Lily listened and suggested, "You need to speak up for yourself. Rachel is trying to make you feel small, but don't let her win." Emma wanted to believe this. At that moment, she felt the tiniest spark of hope. "But what if it doesn't change anything?" she asked. The next day, Emma decided to take a small step. As she walked past Rachel's desk, she looked directly at her and said, "I am working hard, and I hope you can support me." Rachel stared at Emma in shock. Then she smirked. "Support you? Why would I do that?" Emma felt fear creep in again, but she stood tall. She did not let Rachel's words hurt her. Deep down, Emma wanted things to be different. Throughout the week, whenever Rachel made comments, Emma tried to remember Lily's advice. She thought about the strength she wanted to build. Each time she faced Rachel, her feelings bundled together in a mix of doubt and hope. After each encounter, Emma would tell herself, "I am strong. I can be brave." Slowly, Emma began to gather the courage to stand her ground despite Rachel's bullying. The conflict made her feel anxious, but she also dreamed of change. As the days moved on, the stress at work kept growing heavier for Emma. Rachel's comments began to sink deeper into her thoughts, leaving her feeling constantly uneasy. Each time someone laughed or whispered, Emma thought they were laughing at her. This made it hard for her to focus on her tasks. Reports that once seemed easy now felt impossible. She would sit at her desk, staring at blank pages. Her mind was full of worry, and she felt stuck. Every afternoon, Emma replayed Rachel's hurtful words in her mind. "You must be so impressed," echoed like a bad song. She began to doubt her skills, and worries cluttered her thoughts. "Am I not good enough?" she often asked herself. This question festered in her head, taking away her confidence. She longed to speak up and defend herself, yet the fear of Rachel's response held her back. Emma felt like she was in a trap, surrounded by doubts. One evening, Emma sat alone in the break room, trying to enjoy a snack. She watched her coworkers chat and laugh together. They seemed so happy and comfortable, but Emma felt out of place. She wished someone would invite her to join, but she sat quietly instead. Moments like this made her feel isolated. "Do they see me? Do they know I am here?" One of the co-workers, Jonathan, noticed her silence and said, "Are you okay, Emma?" But Rachel quickly responded, "Oh, she is just trying to work. No fun for her." Jonathan laughed, but then quickly moved away, leaving Emma alone again. As Emma continued to struggle, she started thinking about her options. Would it be better to fight back? What if she told Rachel how her comments made her feel? She wanted to be brave and show Rachel she was not afraid. But what if that made things worse? Would Rachel hate her even more? Sometimes, Emma thought about quitting her job. The fear of bullying and the weight of constant stress made her question if this was the right place for her. "Maybe I don't belong here," she thought. Chills ran down her spine at the idea of leaving. She dreamed about having a successful career, but this job felt more like a nightmare. One night, Emma went home and felt the burden of her feelings grow heavier. "What can I do? I don't know," she whispered to herself. She sat on her bed, tears in her eyes. Pitiful thoughts flooded her mind, reminding her of her failures. At that moment, all she saw were her doubts, and she questioned her ability to grow. "I am just an assistant. I cannot be a manager," she thought bitterly. Determined, Emma reached for her phone and texted Lily. "I feel so lost. Rachel won't stop bothering me, and I am not sure what to do," she typed, hoping for comfort. A few moments later, Lily replied, "You are strong, Emma. You deserve better. Let's talk tomorrow." Reading those words reminded Emma she had someone on her side. But even this could not break the storm inside her. In the depths of struggle, Emma felt a flicker of hope. The path forward seemed uncertain, but she realized she had to face her challenges. Deep down, she wanted to find her strength, even if the road was bumpy. Emma took a slow breath, deciding she was not ready to give up just yet. Days turned into weeks, and the stress at work felt worse than ever for Emma. Each morning was a struggle. She would look in the mirror and tell herself, "You can do this." But once she stepped into the office, her confidence faded. The training project she was preparing was approaching its deadline. Emma was nervous that Rachel's annoying comments could bring her down. She did not want anyone to see her fail. On a particularly stressful Friday, things took a turn. Emma had just finished a long report, tired from hours of work. She hoped this would impress Mr. Adams and show that she was competent despite Rachel's bullying. As she prepared to present her work, her hands shook with anxiety. Just before the meeting, Rachel approached her desk with a sneer. "Is that paper any good? Or is it just full of rubbish as usual?" Emma felt her heart race. This time, more than ever, Rachel's words hurt deeply. During the meeting, Emma could not focus. The only thing she heard was Rachel's laughter ringing in her ears. When it was time for Emma to present, she stood before her team, nervous energy swirling inside her. Just as she began to speak, her voice shook. "This is my report on our new marketing plan," she stammered. The eyes of her coworkers felt heavy with judgment, and Emma struggled to find her rhythm. Her mind was racing, and suddenly, Rachel interrupted. "You should have done better, Emma. Our work is much too important for weak effort." The words felt like knives cutting deep. Emma's face flushed again, and she wanted to disappear. In that moment, something inside her snapped. Tears filled her eyes as she tried to speak. She felt the heat of embarrassment overwhelm her. Just then, Mr. Adams noticed. "Rachel, enough. This is not how we treat each other here," he said firmly. Everyone in the room fell silent. Emma looked up at Mr. Adams, feeling a mix of gratitude and fear. She realized how important it was for her to stand up for herself. She took a deep breath and felt a wave of emotion wash over her. "No, it's not just me. It's not okay what you do, Rachel," she said, her voice quiet but growing stronger. Rushing words came out as she continued. "I try my best here, but the pressure is too much. I cannot keep this up. You do not make it easier for me." With those brave words, she felt a small weight lift off her shoulders. The other team members watched, shocked but curious. Emma was finally facing her fears. At that moment, she knew she could no longer let Rachel pull her down. The bullying and the pressure had built up for too long. Emma also understood that she had a choice, to stay silent or to fight for herself and her dreams. In that instant, thoughts of quitting faded away. Instead, she wanted to grow stronger. Emma realized she needed to break free from the heaviness that held her back. Though her heart raced and her palms were sweaty, she took a step forward. Tension filled the room as she stood her ground. This was only the beginning, but Emma felt a spark of hope brightening the darkness. She had taken the first step towards change, and it felt powerful. She was determined to reclaim her strength and find her voice, believing that everything could open a new door for her. As Emma's words hung in the air, a chill swept through the room. She felt both fear and relief wash over her. Standing up to Rachel felt good, but now she worried about what would happen next. Rachel's face turned bright red as she struggled to respond. "You will regret that, Emma. You think you can challenge me?" Rachel shot back, anger lacing her voice. Emma felt her stomach twist. What had she just done? Mr. Adams cleared his throat and looked concerned. "This is a workplace for teamwork and support, Rachel. I need everyone working together," he said firmly. Emma felt shame creeping again, doubting if she did the right thing. Did she jeopardize her job? A sense of anxiety came crashing down on her. The room felt smaller, and each minute stretched on like hours. A few days passed, and there was a tense silence in the office. Rachel completely ignored Emma, but Emma felt the weight of her actions. Though she was proud of herself, she feared the consequences of speaking up. She heard whispers around the office about her confrontation with Rachel. Some coworkers supported her, but others frowned. Their mixed reactions left her feeling confused and uneasy. Then one morning, Emma sat at her desk, dreading the busy day ahead. Mr. Adams called her into his office. Emma's heart raced. Was this a meeting to discuss her words or to punish her? As she walked through the door, her palms felt sweaty. Mr. Adams motioned for her to sit down. His face was serious, and Emma felt a knot in her throat. "Emma, I want to talk about your feedback during the meeting," he began. "I understand that Rachel's comments are not easy to handle, but I urge you to focus on your work." With each word, Emma felt her heart sink. Mr. Adams thought she should have remained quiet, and now she worried she might lose her chance for a promotion. "But I'm trying to improve. I can be better," she said, her voice catching. Mr. Adams nodded but sighed. "I appreciate your efforts. But keep in mind, addressing conflict is tricky. I think it's best if you both put your differences aside." His words felt like ice water pouring over her. Emma wished she could break down and cry, but she held back her tears. Instead, she nodded and forced a smile, feeling defeated. Returning to her desk felt like a heavy burden. Emma could not escape the feeling of guilt that twisted in her stomach. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything, she thought. Was it worth facing Mr. Adams' disappointment? I only made things worse. She sat quietly as other coworkers around her worked on their tasks, yet she felt so alone in that moment. The stress started to seep deeper into her life outside of work. At nights, she found it hard to sleep, tossing and turning with worry. The anxiety built a wall around her, and Emma felt isolated. She was struggling to manage her feelings. What if they all find a better assistant? What if Mr. Adams does not trust me anymore? These relentless thoughts clouded her mind. In the silence of her room, Emma questioned herself over and over. Each word Rachel had hurled at her echoed painfully in the back of her mind. Should she have just walked away instead of confronting her fears? Emma felt exhausted from the emotional weight pressing her down. The journey she thought would build her strength now felt crushing. Yet deep down, a tiny part of her wanted to keep trying. It whispered that this moment could lead to growth, but questioned how much longer she could persevere through the pain. One late evening, as Emma sat on her bed, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Lily. "Hey, let's hang out this weekend. You need a break." At first, Emma considered saying no, feeling unworthy of any fun. But something stopped her. After all the weight she carried, maybe escaping for a bit could help her mind. She remembered how Lily always lifted her spirits. Emma replied quickly, "Okay, I would love to." On Saturday, they met at a small cafe. Their familiar laughs and warmth let Emma forget her worries, even if for a little while. As she sipped her drink, she opened up to Lily about everything. "I just feel lost and judged at work," Emma said, staring at the surface. Lily listened closely and nodded, encouraging Emma to continue. "I stood up for myself, but then I felt so alone. I worry I did the wrong thing." Lily leaned in and said, "Emma, standing up for yourself is never wrong. You did what you had to do. Rachel should not bully you, and you deserve to speak your mind." Emma felt the warmth of those words envelop her. In that moment, she realized she was not alone. She had friends who believed in her. "Sometimes, I think you're too hard on yourself," Lily continued. "You work so hard, and you are more than your mistakes. You have to believe in yourself. Remember why you wanted this job in the first place." Emma pondered this thought, reflecting on her original dreams. "I wanted to help people with marketing and grow in my career," she remembered softly. Lily smiled. "Then don't let Rachel or any other problem take that from you. Each difficulty is just a lesson. Think of it that way." Emma felt something inside shift. Lily's words lit a small fire in her heart. Maybe it was true. Each obstacle was a chance to learn and grow stronger. The emotions that had weighed her down began to lift. As they continued to talk, Emma realized something bigger. She had the power to steer her own path. If she wanted to succeed, she must control her reaction to challenges. Standing up was just the start. It was time to prepare herself for what comes after. She needed to find her strength, not just in confronting Rachel, but also within herself every day. By the end of their meeting, Emma felt renewed. The heaviness, although still present, began to lessen bit by bit. She understood that to thrive in her career, she needed to embrace her own worth. Emma took a deep breath and raised her chin a bit higher. With every setback, she could start to rise. "I can do this. I can learn from it all," she whispered to herself. In that private moment of self-affirmation, hope started to bloom within Emma. She was ready to face Rachel again if needed, and she wanted to have a positive impact in her workplace. Now, Emma felt inspired instead of afraid. She had realized self-worth was key. Facing challenges with courage was a part of her journey. With Lily's encouragement echoing in her mind, Emma decided not to back down. Only forward now. The dawn was breaking, and she would embrace every opportunity to prove herself. This was not the end of her story. It was just the beginning of a stronger Emma who saw her potential, ready to rise above the hate and keep moving forward. Falling action. The atmosphere in the office had slowly begun to change after Emma's confrontation with Rachel. At first, it felt tense and heavy, but time worked wonders. Emma took time each day to breathe and focus on her tasks. She decided to keep her head high. With each passing day, she learned to ignore Rachel's comments, realizing they said more about Rachel than about herself. The shift in her mindset helped brighten the way Emma viewed her work. One afternoon, Emma met with Mr. Adams to discuss the progress of her marketing project. To her surprise, he praised her efforts. "I see how hard you are working, Emma. Your ideas are creative, and the team appreciates your input," he said. Emma couldn't believe her ears. This recognition stirred a feeling of pride within her. She felt lighter, empowering her to embrace her role more fully. It was moments like this that made the difficult times worth it. After the meeting, Emma wanted to celebrate her small success. She texted Lily, "I received positive feedback. I feel so much better about my work." Lily replied with a big smiley face, saying, "You deserve it. Let's grab coffee soon." Emma felt happiness bubbling inside her as she pictured their outing. As the week moved on, Emma made a point to take action. She revamped her approach in meetings, sharing ideas confidently. Interactions with her team members became more productive. Each time she spoke up and contributed, she found her voice growing stronger. The more she expressed her thoughts, the more confidence blossomed within her. Emma realized that her voice mattered, and her contributions were valid. This feeling fueled her determination to keep moving forward. One day, Rachel unexpectedly approached Emma during lunch. "Hey, I realize I was too harsh with you before," Rachel admitted, looking a little nervous. "I didn't mean to belittle your efforts." Emma studied Rachel's face, unsure of how to react. It was a surprising shift, and she needed to respond wisely. She chose kindness and replied, "Thank you for saying that. I hope we can work better together." After that conversation, Emma noticed that Rachel was quieter, and maybe there was a chance for understanding between them. Although she did not wish for friendship with Rachel, this encounter brought Emma a sense of relief. No longer did she feel afraid of confrontation. She learned that reacting with grace can change the outcome. Each day, Emma woke up with renewed purpose. She focused on her abilities and accomplishments. When she met with challenges, they no longer felt like walls. Instead, they transformed into stepping stones. Emma started setting small goals for herself, pushing herself to grow in her role. Each step took her closer to becoming the professional she always wanted to be. She began to fill the strains of worry with thoughts of growth and new opportunities. Walking into work every day felt different now. Emma embraced a hopeful mindset. The worries seemed smaller than before. Although the past weeks had been tough, Emma realized that these challenges could help her become even stronger. Feeling empowered inspired her to continue on her path without fear. She was transforming her struggle into success, and that made each day worth more than just a job. It started feeling like a real journey. Emma was ready for what came next. Emma's newfound sense of confidence pushed her to take even larger steps. She was determined to create a better work environment for herself and her colleagues. The discomfort she had felt from Rachel's words and actions still lingered, but Emma resolved not to let it control her anymore. One day, she gathered her thoughts carefully for a conversation. "It is time to set some boundaries," she told herself with determination. It started with small actions. Walking into the break room, she overheard Rachel making a cutting joke about someone else's work. This time, Emma chose to intervene. "That's not fair, Rachel. Everyone deserves respect, including their projects," she said firmly. The words surprised both Rachel and the others in the room. Emma felt her heart race, but the quiet strength in her voice gave her the boost she needed. Some coworkers turned their heads in support, nodding quietly. Rachel, however, looked shocked but soon attempted to shrug it off. "Oh, come on, Emma. It's just a joke," she sneered. But Emma held her ground. "Well, I don't think it's funny," she replied, her voice steady. This was another small yet crucial moment. Emma was claiming her power and pushing back against negative behavior. As she walked away, her fellow coworkers whispered supportive words. For Emma, this casual conversation was a giant leap. With renewed courage, Emma scheduled a meeting with Mr. Adams to discuss workplace dynamics. She wanted to address more than just her experience. She wanted change for everyone. During the meeting, Emma was nervous, but she took a deep breath and spoke clearly about the toxic atmosphere created by Rachel. "We need a better environment to work well as a team," she stated boldly. Mr. Adams listened and nodded. "Thank you for bringing this up, Emma," he replied sincerely. "I will have to think about ways to improve our workplace." This reaction from her boss filled Emma with hope. She could see that Mr. Adams cared about the well-being of his employees. Knowing she had taken the first step toward a healthier work environment filled her with determination. But she was still aware that change could be slow. However, not everyone was supportive. Rachel began to spread whispers about Emma among the team. "She is just trying to cause drama," Rachel said, rolling her eyes when people mentioned Emma's meeting with Mr. Adams. Emma heard some murmurs that made her doubt herself again. "Maybe I did make things worse," she thought. But as she reflected, she realized her truth. She had the right to stand up for herself and the people around her. Emma could not back down. Instead of succumbing to her doubts, she reached out to a small group of supportive colleagues. Together, they decided to plan a monthly meeting to promote positive feedback and encourage open communication. They believed it was essential and vital for everyone to have a voice. Building this community with her coworkers motivated Emma. She proved that even small steps could lead to significant changes over time. Emma worked hard not only for herself, but for her colleagues too. Their support felt like a shield against the negativity surrounding them. They were ready together to transform the workplace into a more welcoming space for every team member. Each day felt refreshing as Emma embraced this new journey. The fire inside her grew, and she understood that standing up for herself could inspire others to do the same. With each boundary she set, Emma started to weave the threads of a stronger bond among her team, increasing hope and teamwork. She was no longer just fighting for herself, but for all those who needed empowerment. Emma felt that, at last, she was becoming the person she always wanted to be. Emma felt a new sense of energy bubbling within her. As she worked to create a better environment, she soon discovered small wins that energized her spirit. One day, during a team meeting, Emma presented a marketing proposal she had developed with her supportive coworkers. The room was full of quiet anticipation as she began to explain her ideas. As Emma spoke, her voice grew steady and confident. "I believe our new strategy can help attract more customers. Here are the steps we can follow to make it work." She noticed several team members nodding, sharing smiles, and leaning closer to hear every word. The moment felt electric, and Emma felt her heart lift. Then, something unexpected happened. Jonathan, one of her quieter colleagues, chimed in enthusiastically. "Emma's idea is great. I think we should all support her to make it happen." The encouragement washed over Emma like a wave of warmth. This support was vital. Emma never expected Jonathan to speak up, but it showed her that her earlier efforts were beginning to take root. His belief in her gave her more strength. "Thank you, Jonathan," she said with a smile. "We can achieve this together as a team." What started as a presentation morphed into a dynamic discussion, filled with ideas from everyone. They worked together, suggesting how to implement Emma's proposal step by step. After the meeting, Emma felt elated. "We are actually moving forward," she thought. The kindness and support of her coworkers made her anxious feelings fade. They were sharing ideas, and Emma realized together they formed a stronger bond. She understood that positive change can happen when people stand by you. The following week, Emma sat at her desk lost in thought, feeling grateful for Jonathan's support. Suddenly, Rachel approached her with a surprised look. "I saw the meeting. You really shone," she said with less sarcasm than usual. "I think our ideas could work better together." Emma was taken aback, but excited by this shift. "Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate your honesty. More ideas can only lead to greater success and growth," Emma replied with sincerity. With that newfound bond developing, Emma realized she had grown so much during this journey. Setting boundaries and standing up helped her see the truth. She did not have to face challenges alone. Emma began to feel peace settle into her life. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, she now viewed obstacles as opportunities. They urged her to work smarter and become resilient. Feeling this sense of clarity, Emma decided she needed to share how she had transformed. She set up an informal meeting with her colleagues at a coffee shop later that week. "Let's get together to discuss how we can continue supporting each other," she invited. When the day came, several co-workers attended, and together they brainstormed ways to keep the positive energy flowing. Emma felt proud of how far she had come, and inspiring others fueled her motivation. This was a small win, but it was meaningful. It solidified her growth in her role. Determined to keep the momentum going, Emma created team-building activities for the office. She suggested simple things like monthly lunches and open forums where everyone could share progress without fear of judgment. The activities brought laughter and talk, slowly fueling a fire that pushed negativity aside. Emma took action, inspiring all her coworkers to join in. Emma knew the journey was still ongoing, but with each step and each supportive moment, she grew even stronger. This newfound belief and determination filled Emma's soul as she moved forward, energized and ready for what life had in store. Emma understood that small wins could lead to larger victories, creating an environment in which everyone thrived together. The team began to embrace positive change, and Emma was proud to be at the heart of it all. Resolution. As months passed, Emma found herself in a much healthier working environment. The supportive atmosphere she had worked hard to create blossomed around her, and her confidence soared. Emma looked around her workplace and saw new relationships forming. Everyone was working together, sharing ideas and supporting one another. Rachel, although still a bit withdrawn, began to participate positively during meetings. One afternoon, Emma realized she had grown in many ways. Sitting at her desk and reviewing her completed projects, she felt pride swell in her heart. She had learned to handle stressful situations gracefully. Jaw set with determination and her mind focused on her long-term goals, she noticed how much she had changed since her early days at the company. Just a year ago, she struggled to voice her concerns, but now she found strength in her words. Emma had been contemplating her future as the month came to an end. After much reflection, she admitted to herself, "I want to go further. I want to become a better leader." This awareness lit a spark inside her. She decided to pursue professional development courses to improve her skills in management and leadership. She would work toward making her dream a reality. With this goal in mind, she approached Mr. Adams. "I would love to discuss opportunities for further training and mentorship," she stated confidently. Mr. Adams was supportive and encouraged her desire to grow. He proposed sending her to workshops on leadership. "Our company needs strong leaders like you, Emma," he said with a warm smile. Emma felt a surge of hope. Her growth had not gone unnoticed, and she now felt empowered to progress in her career. At the same time, Emma did not forget about creating an inclusive atmosphere. She took the initiative to organize a team retreat focused on trust and teamwork. The retreat was designed to strengthen bonds and improve communication among coworkers. As Emma led the organization, she listened to her colleagues' ideas and allowed their thoughts to guide the activities. She enjoyed seeing everyone's smiles and the laughter around the retreat setting. Emma also grew beyond the workplace, engaging with her personal life. She began volunteering at a local community center, where she offered free marketing advice to small business owners. Every session sparked new inspiration for her and filled her heart with joy. Together, they worked to create successful marketing strategies, and Emma felt fulfilled to give back to her community. She realized what truly mattered to her was to help others succeed, just as she had. Every now and then, memories of her struggle with Rachel resurfaced. However, Emma acknowledged that her experiences shaped who she was today. Facing the conflict had challenged her and strengthened her character. She learned that the right mindset could transform challenges into opportunities. By the end of the year, Emma stood reflecting on the journey she had taken. She felt a mixture of pride and gratitude. Knowing she could create a supportive workplace and inspire growth in others made her heart full. Emma had not just changed her workplace. She shifted her mindset and priorities in life. In her new light, Emma understood that one's environment can grow positive and strong when filled with support. She continued to evolve and encouraged her colleagues to do the same. Emma was excited about the future, believing that every step she took was evidence that change is possible. With hope blooming inside her, the journey had only just begun. Emma knew she would conquer whatever came her way next, armed with confidence and determination. Emma's journey had transformed her life more than she could have imagined. With her leadership skills blossoming and her positive spirit shining, she eagerly approached each day. One morning, Emma stood at her desk, looking out the window. She felt hopeful and excited about the road ahead. She planned to attend those workshops, and each one felt like a stepping stone to greater achievements. Emma decided it was time to share her new mindset with others. Inspired by her experiences, she organized a workshop within her company titled Building Your Voice. At the session, she encouraged colleagues to share their challenges and successes. Emma facilitated conversations, opening the space for everyone to express themselves freely and with respect. The atmosphere buzzed with shared stories, growth, and laughter. Seeing her coworkers bond over their truths filled her heart with happiness. She knew they were building a stronger team together. As news spread around the company about the workshop, even those who had distanced themselves began to show interest. Rachel attended, and Emma greeted her warmly. "I'm glad you're here, Rachel," Emma said, genuinely. Rachel was quiet at first, but soon began to engage with others. Emma watched as the tension slowly eased, feeling proud of creating a safe space for growth. This experience inspired Emma to think bigger. She decided to pursue a certification in leadership management, believing it would enhance her skills. Emma knew that growing her abilities would not only help her, but benefit the entire team. "I want to help others succeed," she thought. As she shared her plans with Mr. Adams, he supported her decision, seeing her potential for growth. As months rolled by, Emma found herself building more meaningful connections. Slowly, old fears faded. She learned to handle conflicts through conversations rather than avoidance. Emma now embraced feedback and improvement, guiding herself and those around her towards a brighter future. The company's culture had shifted, filled with cooperation and encouragement, thanks to everyone's efforts, including Rachel's growth. They had turned their professional relationships into a community of support with purpose. One day, Emma received an exciting email inviting her to speak at a local conference about leadership empowerment. Her heart raced at the opportunity to share what she'd learned from her journey and the importance of workplace support. "This is my chance," she thought, feeling the confidence swell inside her. The conference arrived, and Emma stood before an audience eager to learn. She shared her story, from struggles to breakthroughs, enveloping everyone in her warmth. "Remember, your voice matters. Speak up, stand tall, and believe in yourself. Change is possible when you embrace it," she encouraged. After her speech, many approached Emma, thanking her and sharing their own stories. That was the moment she realized how much she had changed. Emma was stepping confidently into her future, equipped with tools to navigate challenges. Each day presented new opportunities to make a difference. Emma knew this was just the beginning. She had ambitions to grow further and nurture her skills. Whether through future promotions, workshops, or gathering feedback, she held on to that hope tightly. The journey ahead would not be devoid of challenges, but Emma was ready to embrace them. She understood the importance of forming a supportive environment, both at work and in life. As the inspiring excitement filled her heart, Emma looked ahead with confidence, knowing that every step would lead to something more beautiful than she could imagine. This journey was not just hers. It belonged to everyone willing to work together for a brighter tomorrow. Emma knew that a positive change could ripple through the world, one voice at a time. And that was the power she would continue to share.